she was never pregnant at all.
She's a bully. She's obsessed with her own ego face.
This nightmare is what Meghan's life has become.
Is disrespectful, I think, to the moment, to the child.
Harry and Meghan are likely in full panic mode right now after the country's top hospital dropped a bombshell. Their kids might not even be biologically Meghan's. A woman named DL has come forward claiming she carried both Archie and Lilibet, and she's not bluffing. With DNA tests looming and hospital records mysteriously missing, the royal family could be staring down its biggest scandal in decades.
Posted a bizarre video on her social media yesterday, which sent several people into absolute meltdown.
The bombshell dropped in June 2025, and it hit like a royal earthquake. A woman, previously unknown to the public and identified only as DL, stepped forward and declared something that shook the entire Sussex narrative to its core. She looked directly into the camera and said she is the real birth mother of Archie and Lilibet, not an egg donor, not a gestational surrogate, the woman who carried and delivered both of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's children in full secrecy. And then, according to her, she was completely erased from the story.
It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape.
DL didn't just talk. She came armed. Hospital records, payment receipts, even signed non-disclosure agreements from 2018. And what was her claim? I was promised privacy and compensation. Instead, I was discarded, she said. And that one statement flipped everything. What was once labeled as internet speculation or wild conspiracy suddenly had receipts and a face.
When the difficult Duchess wanted all the talk of her fake baby bumps,
suddenly the old footage of Meghan's pregnancies resurfaced like wildfire. Clips from 2019 showing her baby bump folding when she sat down, or mysteriously shrinking and expanding over a matter of days, were no longer dismissed as silly internet gossip. They were now being watched in a completely different light, with millions reanalyzing every frame. And this time, those once laughable questions didn't seem so far-fetched.
But why the hell would the gruesome twosome pretend?
DL says she was first recruited in late 2018, just before Meghan made her first pregnancy announcement in October that year. She was moved into California, Safe House, where she was kept under strict isolation.
Reportedly bullied virtually everybody who's ever worked for her. She can't keep a staff in London. She can't keep a staff in Montecito.
No contact with friends or family, no internet, no visitors. She says Meghan's team controlled everything. Her doctors, housing, even psychological support. She wasn't allowed to post online or speak to anyone. And when Archie was born in May 2019, DL says she was completely cut off from the process of what the world saw as the royal birth.
And suggested that they didn't care you were suicidal and they were the ones who drove you there.
After Archie, DL says she stayed silent. She hoped Meghan's team would honor the agreement. But when she carried Lilibet in 2021, things got worse. DL claims she developed preeclampsia, a dangerous high-risk condition, and received no meaningful medical follow-up. She felt used and discarded. That's when she began keeping everything: texts, receipts, appointment logs, building her own paper trail because she felt something was seriously wrong. For the Sussexes, the cracks are starting to show. And this bombshell? It might just be the start of something even bigger. Let's talk about the bump. Yes, that bump. Meghan Markle's baby bump. The one that became a bigger internet mystery than the missing Titanic sub.
The Sussexes' widely derided dance film is hard evidence that the manipulative Ms. Markle used prosthetic moon bumps to fabricate both of her phantom pregnancies.
Then, as if one optical illusion wasn't enough, March 2019 came with a bonus round. In one photo op, Meghan's bump looked massive, like due any day massive. But in a video from just 3 days later, it was significantly smaller. Not a little bloat difference. Twitter had a field day. People started posting side-by-sides with captions like, "The amazing shrinking baby bump." Some said it was lighting, others blamed her dress. But deep down, everyone had one question they were too afraid to say out loud. Was that bump even real?
Now the trolls have gone into overdrive with their firm belief that non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hoax.
DL's story matches the timeline. She says she was the one actually carrying Archie and Lilibet, and while Meghan was stepping out in heels and camera-ready bumps, DL was tucked away in medical isolation. And speaking of disasters, let's talk about the day Archie was born. Or more accurately, the day the public was told he was born. May 6th, 2019, the royal family announces the arrival of a new baby. Naturally, the world expects what they've always seen. A glowing mother outside the hospital, holding her newborn, flashing smiles for the press. Kate did it 3 times. Diana did it. Even Zara Tindall posed. But Meghan? Nope.
Being like a normal guy is disrespectful.
Instead, we got a weird video of Harry standing in front of a horse stable, literally, with no Meghan in sight, saying, "I'm just over the moon." No baby in his arms. No hospital name, no doctors, no pictures, nothing. People were confused. Some laughed it off as Meghan and Harry doing things differently. But now, that moment feels staged, manufactured. Like the whole thing was carefully crafted to avoid questions they didn't want to answer.
Huge, low-slung baby belly looked kind of odd. But why the hell would the gruesome twosome pretend?
And from here, it gets murkier. A former NHS hospital administrator came forward this year, saying that no birth records exist for Meghan at the facility where she supposedly delivered Archie. 0 logs, no entries, no paperwork. The official story is cracking like a cheap teacup. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next takes this royal scandal to a whole new level.
That is the question. Another question, the one the conspiracy theories ask, is why are Meghan and Harry...
Then there's the birth certificate twist. In early 2020, eagle-eyed fans noticed a change on Archie's certificate. Originally, it listed Meghan by her full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle. Then suddenly it was changed to Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. The palace said it was just a clerical fix. Meghan claimed she didn't authorize it. But now people are asking, was that change to cover something up? Because if Meghan wasn't the biological mother, her name on the certificate could open a legal can of worms. And here's where things go from weird to legal warfare. Fast forward to June and July 2025, and here we are. DL has come forward publicly, dropped bombshells, and brought receipts. So, what do Harry and Meghan do? Nothing. No denial, no statement, just lawyers.
She's a bully. She's obsessed with her own ego, face on television, etc.
Multiple media outlets confirmed they've received cease and desist letters from Meghan and Harry's legal team. Interviews are being pulled. Stories are being reviewed for legal risk. Their camp is reportedly working overtime to shut it all down before it really explodes. But DL, she's not backing down. In fact, she's doubling down. She's offered to take a DNA test on record, under oath as long as it's handled by a neutral lab. And she's saying publicly. That's the part that's freaking people out. Because when you're innocent, you don't hide behind lawyers and NDAs. You show proof, you put rumors to rest. But instead, Harry and Meghan have chosen total silence and legal intimidation, and it's only making things worse. Because when the public smells a cover-up, they dig deeper, they get louder, and the silence, it becomes the story.
Disrespect to the intimacy and privacy of marriage.
What started as viral bump clips and odd PR choices has now become a full-blown royal credibility crisis, and Meghan and Harry are running out of ways to spin it. Let's just say things inside Meghan and Harry's Montecito mansion are not exactly giving peaceful California vibes right now. According to sources, the place has gone from royal retreat to full-blown crisis bunker. And if that's not stressful enough, there's the business side of things. You know that multi-million-dollar lifestyle brand Meghan's been building? Skincare, wine, home goods, all that curated California wellness aesthetic? Well, it's in serious trouble. Sponsors are reportedly backing away quietly, delaying launches, freezing payments. One insider from a major brand said, "No one wants to be tied to a scandal involving royal babies and fake birth certificates. It's a PR nightmare." That's putting it mildly. Behind the gates of Montecito, what once looked like a polished, perfect post-royal life is cracking fast. And the worst part? It's all playing out publicly. The couple who once controlled every headline and caption can't stop the avalanche this time. Which brings us to the Meghan blackout. And yes, that's what the internet is calling it.
You actually are a good person. You don't show up at the Uvalde mass school shooting and put yourself on camera and make it about you. You don't see...
Let's rewind a bit. For years, Meghan has been known as a master of the narrative. When she wanted sympathy, she gave a vulnerable podcast. When she wanted applause, she launched a new product with a Vogue photo shoot. When she wanted control, she made headlines. Her way. But now, crickets. Some of the biggest Hollywood names who once sang her praises are now suddenly quiet. Podcasts that featured her are deleting episodes. Press outlets that used to write glowing profiles are now publishing scathing, "Where did it all go wrong?" pieces. Even her go-to PR firm hasn't released a single denial, a single statement, nothing to defend her. That silence? It's deafening. And if you think the public hasn't noticed, think again. According to opinion polls released in late June, public trust in the Sussexes has dropped 48% in both the US and UK. That's not just a dip, it's a cliff dive. The narrative that once framed Meghan and Harry as the brave truth-tellers standing up to the monarchy is now falling apart, and fast. People are starting to ask the big questions. If they lied about something this serious, who gave birth to their kids? What else have they faked? What was performance? And what was real? And why, in the middle of one of the biggest scandals in royal history, are they choosing lawyers and silence over transparency? The Sussexes spent years building a brand on authenticity, truth, and openness. But now, with the spotlight back on them and serious legal questions hanging in the air, they've gone underground. The once polished palace escape now looks like a Hollywood implosion in real time. Montecito isn't the quiet sanctuary it was once billed to be. It's the epicenter of a royal reckoning, and right now it's not looking good for the couple who thought they had finally taken control of their story. Because here's the harsh truth: if you built your empire on your truth, and that truth turns out to be a lie, everything crashes. What started as whispers about a fake bump has turned into a royal nightmare. Smash that like button and subscribe, because this story isn't over.